Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford studio here this morning. Lane Kiffin spoke yesterday. The quarterback spoke yesterday. We have a depth chart. We've technically had two depth charts. Had one, it went away. Got another one. So
they're going to play 12 guys on defense too. If you can get away with it, that's going to be pretty cool.
Well, it's kind of like
it's a penalty on every play, which means that we'll never get out of the stadium.
That's where your concern was. Yeah, we're not going to be able to leave. It's kind of like the SEC preseason and postseason all SEC basketball teams, where it's like 12 players for the first team.
That team would be awesome.
They would win every game. The first team is always, like 6 guards and 4 forwards and a couple centers.
If the 12 best players in the SEC play at the same time against anybody else, they're going to win. No, I don't know how you spread the offense around.
There's only one ball, Neal.
But it'd be hard to guard 12 guys with 5 guys. It'd be very difficult, especially if all 12 guys are good. It'd just be difficult.
Well, all 12 guys are good.
And if you can play 12 guys on defense every play, that is going to change the calculus.
The zones could be very difficult to deal with.
Well, you're just going to be able to guard more of the field. You're going to be able to take stuff away. You're going to be able to put an extra man in the box at all times.
Yeah. So we'll talk about those things today here on this Tuesday, just a few days away from finally football games. SEC non-Vanderbilt edition beginning Thursday with a couple games, Missouri and Tennessee. So, a lot of football coming up on today's show. A show brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Remember their daily lunch specials they have going on. They include bread and any size fountain drink, 12, 16, 20, 24, 32, 44, whatever you would like there with the Oxford Exxon. Today, the Southern staple tater tot casserole. I don't know specifics. I know people get really interested in what is potentially on like or not on tater tot casserole, but
my calorie alert just went boom.
That is the Tuesday special. You can also give them a shout, talk about the barbecue specials for tailgating or home games this weekend. Remember that coming up on Saturday, 3 o'clock for Ole Miss and Troy. So either way, it be tailgating or tater tot casserole today. That's the Oxford Exxon here on Highway 6 West in Oxford. And coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do. Let's hop into a Clark Ford today. You'll love the service. You'll love the product. 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. Great place for coming into town this weekend. Grab a burger, a po' boy, grab a beer, have a cocktail, whatever the case may be. They're at Rafters on the Square. Also, don't forget Rafters in New Albany.
So
hit the like button. Do us a favor, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel here, hit the subscribe button. We'd appreciate that as well. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Steal their phone, hit the subscribe button on their phone. Stuff like that. Cool.
It's a good bit of stuff yesterday. You wrote a quarterback story. Again, we talked to Lane, Dart, and Altmaier yesterday. Anything that is said with any sort of concrete nature is going to be inaccurate because nobody knows. In my opinion, you feel free to disagree, but I think we could analyze a lot of answers, a lot of things, but frankly would be just doing a podcast and killing time with words, which we'll do a little bit of. But it's kind of the scope of the day, and we've talked about this really since Lane got here, but this year does feel different. He feels more honest. Frankly, it seems like he hates us less than usual. Or at least he's happier in general. He gives more thoughtful answers. He is speaking more articulately. He's not just trying to get out of there as fast as possible and looks like it's a hostage video when he is discussing things with us.
I think he hates certain of us less than he hates.
He hates the overall activity less than he used to hate it.
Yeah,
I think is correct.
And I don't think his hate level across the board on all of us is even anymore. I think
it's not one entity of hate.
I think he would tell you that there are certain people that he just hates a little bit less than the others that he hates.
Okay.
And so there's less hate.
Oh, less overall hate is true. Yes.
And hate's the wrong word. It's disdain.
Oh, you think it's even disdain?
I mean, I think
it's definitely annoyance.
Annoyed.
Annoyance might be the nice way to put it.
Why am I having to be here with these people?
Why are we sharing oxygen at this point?
A reminder that I get paid for this. I think that does cross his mind. I think there are certain people like in the national
$7.5 million. $7.5 million. $7.5 million.
I think there are people in the national media that he enjoys talking to. I don't.
Do you really? Or he just knows they have an audience that allows him to be more.
No, I think like if you listen to him when he talks to Dan Patrick, or you listen to him when he talks to.
Because see, Dan would be the one I would argue against, because Dan, frankly, is asking really good questions. He's a great interviewer, but I don't feel like they have this like dialogue that Lane is overly engaged in.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe
you know what I mean? Like, sure. He gives him a lot of effort, but Dan is not necessarily having a podcast type conversation.
Like I think he enjoys talking to Le Batard because they know each other from the Miami days and stuff.
Yeah. He and Feldman probably know each other really well, I would assume.
Let's see. What's the question? How many more interactions than normal did I have from Lane's retweet of my article? I don't even know. I believe it or not, I don't spend as much time on Twitter as people think I do. I really don't. I really don't know. Jay's in the thread. Jay has challenged me to spend less time on Twitter, and I've done that.
Oh, really?
Well, Jay and other people, like, just let it go. Like I was listening to Rogan yesterday, where he goes, it's absolutely, you should just absolutely not engage in Twitter at all. Just post and get out. He's right.
Point being to that whole conversation is that Lane is honest. I don't feel like he is trying to manipulate much. He is good. He is fine with not answering questions. I think sometimes coaches, and the reason that coach speak becomes more prevalent is that they don't like not knowing an answer, or they don't like not knowing an answer, or they feel like they have to give an answer to everything. And Lane is not that guy. He can just say, I don't know, we're trying to figure it out, whatever, and move on.
Yeah.
So that allows you to go, when he does answer something, oh, okay, sweet. You just probably told the truth. I mean, there's no whatever. So that plays for two ways. I mean, people are analyzing the hell out of his comments about Oxford and what that means for his future, which the answer is nothing. We'll get to that in a minute. And then two...
I don't know that I agree with that. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Well, I mean...
We'll get to all of it, sure.
But from the quarterback standpoint, if he tells you every freaking day that he's not really sure and he's not happy with either one of them, at some point, just believe him. I mean, because here's the deal. If there was one guy that was just far and away better and was just freaking killing it, every player on the team would go, hey, he's the quarterback. What the hell are we doing here? We all see it. You can't fool kids.
Sure.
And then two, it would benefit his team once classes started. Like there's no positive to not naming a quarterback yesterday if you knew who the quarterback was.
Agreed.
You're playing Troy. There's no the teams that do we're doing gamesmanship. Oh, shut the hell up. Like
we're gonna get to this. Yeah, they're not doing gamesmanship against Troy. If they need gamesmanship to beat Troy, then the people that are talking about 10-2 are going to be not only wrong, but my God, at how wrong they're going to be. I mean, if this is gamesmanship. I mean, I think Lane respects Troy. He talked about that yesterday. I know he respects John.
Mm-hmm.
Summerall, for those who don't know who I'm referencing, the Troy coach, former Ole Miss and Kentucky assistant. John's considered an up-and-comer in the coaching business, and I'm sure that Lane respects his coaching chops. That said, Ole Miss is more talented than Troy and should win the game. You're favored by 22 points or whatnot. It's not gamesmanship. Look, like you said, this is what's funny to me is I see people to go coach speak. He doesn't do coach speak. He either answers a question or he declines to answer the question. It's like yesterday, Nick Suss asked him an injury question, and he paused for a minute.
He had to decide whether he was going to answer it or not because he typically doesn't.
And he was like, to hell with it. Here are the four guys that are just not going to play.
Well, because in his head, I would assume it's cost-benefit analysis. What damn difference does it make? They're not playing,
right? So sure.
That's a different question than, hey, what percentage is Jalen Robinson?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get that. So, but if you ask a good question, you get a good answer. He doesn't do the coach speak thing. So when he tells you repeatedly about, hey, look, I tried to tell you guys the last couple of years to enjoy this.
Matt
Corral thing. Not every quarterback can make every throw and just drop him in. He's telling you something about his quarterback situation. And they're inconsistent. You've been out to a few practices. I've been out to a few practices. At none of those practices did I ever go, ever, not one time, oh, that dude is the guy. They'd make a throw.
Yeah.
And Dart especially sometimes would make a throw. You're like, ooh, that was good. But the next one wasn't. And with Luke, you'd be like, he's just not aggressive enough. And then he'd make a throw. And you're like, well, maybe. But that's kind of where it went. And then we're going to get to this with other stuff on depth charts. But the game has changed. The world of college football has changed. And no one is more aware of that than Lane Kiffin. That when you make a move publicly, there will be ramifications. Every decision has consequences. And so if you name Jackson Dart, the quarterback, tomorrow, you go, he's my guy. We're going to play him. We're going with it. Okay, you better feel really good about it because there's a decent chance that Luke Altmaier is going to go, I did all I could do. I didn't get the job. I'm at peace with it. But I want to be a quarterback. This guy's younger than me. He just won the job. And if he plays well, I'm never going to get an opportunity here. It's time for me to start looking around. That's probably going to happen.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I think that's likely. If you're betting people, and I've gotten pushback on this from people like, why are you encouraging Luke Altmaier to leave? I'm not. That's not what I'm talking about. And then on the flip side, if you name Luke Altmaier the quarterback, what message does that send to Jackson Dart? I know he can't leave. He can't, quote, leave without a waiver. But are you managing his emotions at that point? Both of these guys have families. There's other parts to their lives than Ole Miss football. There are people in their families. Whoever doesn't get this job, the parents are not going to be happy.
If Luke Altmaier wins the job, Jackson Dart made a bad decision.
Yes.
Period.
And if Jackson Dart wins the job, Luke Altmaier made a bad decision by not leaving. Because he could be the starting quarterback at Southern Miss right this moment.
Sure.
So you're dealing with that. And that's the new college football. The days of, look around. Look at all the different, like Pitt's going to play West Virginia. It's JT Daniels, who's been at like 7 schools, versus Keaton Slovis, who was competing with Jackson Dart last season at USC.
Yeah, and now Dart would have the ability to be a little more in his head, potentially patient, because he's been through nothing but quarterback competitions his entire freaking life. And he saw one last year that went weeks and weeks and weeks and injuries and saw this stuff, and eventually he plays and whatnot. But it still is a poor decision if you lose the gig.
And so I think it's conceivable that Lane is, in fact, I think it's quite likely that Lane says we're not there yet. And he keeps getting asked the question, and it's a legitimate question. It's a good question. I asked it, and then I think Michael Katz asked it yesterday. Do you think about playing too? And his answer to that is a consistent, don't really want to do that. But
that's not no.
I'm paraphrasing, but he's never gone, nope, not doing that. Going to name one, going to go with the one, going to go. He's not said that. To me, he said a week ago, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And to Michael yesterday, he goes, don't really think that's what we want to do, but we're not ruling anything out because we don't just do things the way other people do it. Whatever the answer was, look, there was some frustration yesterday. I do that. What he said, what he meant. Brought to you by myperfectfranchise.net every week in the season, and it's always an interesting exercise because if you go back and you read Lane's answers, and there was some frustration with what happened Saturday. Not overdoing it, but it didn't go the way he wanted it to go. And it was a reminder to him, I think, that we've got a bunch of new guys here, is what he was thinking. We've got all these guys that, and I thought one of his most interesting comments yesterday was, back in the day, you brought your freshmen in, and they were kind of lost on day one of, like, the first day when you did the rehearsal and stuff. But he's like, it didn't really matter because they weren't playing anyway. They're just following. They'll pick it up. But in this case, hell, a bunch of these guys are not only playing, they're playing huge roles.
The interesting part about that is, that mock game which is what they did Saturday. They basically went through everything that they would do on a normal game day, dress rehearsal, all that stuff, and they scrimmaged. And again, it was the 1s and the 2s against the service team. That game is set up to kind of be that last reminder to everybody to get their act straight. Because, I mean, he said it, you can't really implement a real game from an intensity level because there's no fans and they were inside. I mean, it's all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So there's a built-in, hey, I'm probably going to be a little disgruntled and yell at them over this because I get to a week before the first game, and it's almost just part of the process, in my opinion. I think you're always frustrated with this mock game in a way.
He wasn't last year.
But, well, my point being,
he was quite pleased with it last year.
I think the continuity between the new guys and the old guys and all that stuff has been such a challenge this preseason that it's all grating on him more. I think it's all a combination of that stuff because, I mean, he made the comment yesterday. He goes, we've got a portal guy in here that wants to change his shoelaces to a different color. And we go, yeah, we don't do that here. But he's like, well, we did that there. And it's like, well, you're not there anymore.
Right.
We've got a way we do things and it's whatever. There's been, I don't know if it's anything that's caused some huge division, but I think there's been lots of just knick-knack crap that he's dealt with over the course of the last few weeks that he is, A, not wanting to spend minutes on, and B, not used to having to spend minutes on. And I think it's all put into a big glob together in a way because they have not – I think they've tried – I think some guys have tried really damn hard, but they have not necessarily all congealed into one unit either at this point.
No, haven't. I mean, you can see that. You bring all these guys in, and they come in, and when we do these interviews with the guys when they – announce they're transferring, right? Mm-hmm. How many of them ever like, yeah, what's going to happen is I'm probably going to go there. I'm not going to win a starting job. I'm going there. I'm probably going to be a backup for a while. I'm going to play a lesser role, and it might not work out. That quote.
I just want to win some games. They've got a great engineering department. If I don't play, it's cool.
Yeah, I just want to be a cog in the wheel. It's not what they say. It's not what they're sold on. And then you get there, and it's different. I think they went into this season. I don't think the wide receiver thing has shook out the way they thought it would. But you go through camp and playing time is earned. But you got to remember this, everybody has feelings. This is around the country, and I'm not criticizing, but you got to be careful this time of year with hurt feelings because hurt feelings can go to the transfer portal fast. Fast. And this is not to be the old man yelling at the cloud because I'm a defender of the young generation, if anything. But this is you're seeing the beginnings of this with the transfer portal. These are the same kids who, hey, I don't like my 7-on-7 coach. I'm moving to another 7-on-7. I don't like my high school coach. I'm going to move to another high school. I'm going to move. Working through adversity.
They have a hard time figuring out, hey, I hate my 7-on-7 coach and he's an ass, or it's a me problem. And They don't ever say much, it's a me problem.
Right.
It's always somebody else at first, at least.
Until somebody figures it out, I mean, you start going, hey, I probably need to address me. But they're also 18, 19, 20-year-old people. And I don't know if you remember this being this way, but when I was 20, I was an idiot. But I thought I was really smart. Mm-hmm. I did. I thought I knew everything. Turns out I didn't know much. So to expect football players, just because they run fast or jump high or they are really big and strong, to be any different than you were at 20 is flawed. They're just the same way. And
frankly, have been appeased pretty good over the course of
and that's the difference. Yeah. Unlike someone like you or me who probably wasn't told that the sun rose because of us.
They've had those moments.
These guys have been told for a while that you're the best thing since sliced bread. And so getting humbled is tough. So you got to be careful. There's a reason that we joke about it on this site. I can't remember where the depth chart thing started, the depth chart joke. I don't remember.
It's been years. I don't know.
I think it was because we had a poster who just rode my ass about depth charts. And I finally got sick of it and did what I do, which is get sarcastic. But coaches hate them.
Yeah, and we'll talk about why in a little bit. I'm going to go to a couple other schools and kind of mention that when we discuss the rest of Ole Miss's depth chart here in a minute. But point being, I don't think there's anything to read into it. I thought, because people have been trying to analyze some of Altmaier's and Dart's answers yesterday, but frankly, they were asked different types of questions.
Yeah.
Dart was asked lots of Dart questions, and Altmaier was asked lots of roster questions, which how that happens, I don't really understand, but sure, that's what happened.
What do you think it is?
Look.
I mean, what do you think it is? Because
if I'm being nice, it's that Altmaier's been here for a while and understands more of the roster than Dart does. If I'm being nice.
Okay. What about if you're not being nice?
If I'm not being nice, and they were asking it because they were wanting – because Luke is seen as one of the team and Jackson is not by media, potentially some media members in a way. That's my opinion.
Even though they're both clearly on the team.
They appear to be both on the team yesterday. I mean, they appeared to be eligible yesterday, best I could tell.
It appears that they are both. They've been cleared by compliance to compete as student athletes.
Dart had a uniform on. I saw it.
He did.
Yeah.
Luke had a great Rocky shirt.
He did have a fantastic Rocky shirt.
Great shirt.
Yeah, it was an awesome shirt yesterday. So, anyway, all right, we'll continue our Lane Kiffin conversation second. First, about Parham Shrimp. ParhamShrimp.com. 6 different meals in the bags that get delivered straight to your house. $20 off your first order with MPW. You just pop it in the freezer, and then when you're ready to eat, 10 minutes, freezer to plate, restaurant quality shrimp with ParhamShrimp.com, including their newest flavor, the lemon cracked pepper. It's a really versatile option, kind of like the signature seasoning. Put it on salads, mix it with pasta, veggies, rice, whatever it is you would like. It's an easy meal at night when maybe kids are busy. You need something fast before you get them into the bath and bed. So you can do that with Parham Shrimp, ParhamShrimp.com. Also, they're individually frozen shrimp, 2-pound bags, just like the grocery store, except a higher quality. That can be shipped to you as well. So again, $20 off your first order with MPW. That's ParhamShrimp.com.
Episode 1 of the Davison Igbenosin Show is up. That's brought to you by the College Corner. It's your one-stop Rebel Shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. You can also go to collegecornerstore.com and find them on Facebook and Instagram. Episode 4 of the Mason Brooks Show, which I highly recommend. I highly recommend both, actually. Had a lot of people go, how are you going to do a show with a backup? Number 1, I don't know that Mason's a backup. Number 2, he's going to play a lot. And number 3, if you still question that.
He was technically a starter on the new depth chart yesterday.
Yes. If you question that, you should listen to the show because Mason was terrific. It's brought to you by The Rogue. It's your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylish hand-select pieces from top designers. From work to lifestyle to nightlife, there's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com. I'll have the next episode of The Troy Brown Show, I think, coming to you later today. It's being edited as we speak. That's brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer at 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern, 662-429-4429. Our friends at Blue Delta are excited to announce they'll be hosting Mustache the Band on Friday, October the 14th for the Square Jams after party. So it's after Square Jams and before the Saturday game against Auburn at Vaught Hemingway. You can spend some time with Blue Delta on Friday night at the Lyric with the world's most powerful 90s country party band. Ticket packages are on sale now. Some include jeans, some don't. But all include admission to the concert and an open bar. To book, just DM Blue Delta on their socials or visit bluedeltajeans.com/afterparty, and we'll see you there. A-Stock Auctions is a Nashville-based online auction company with the mission to provide customers the power to name their price. All items at A-Stock Auction start at just $1. That's right. Every item starts at just $1. So shop now at astock.bid or download their app. Name your price on thousands of items from big-name retailers. A-Stock Auctions has multiple locations around Nashville that offer local pickups, so don't miss out. Want it? Bid it? Win it. We talked about my piece on rebelgrove.com, the what he said, what he meant. That is up as well. Got that to you last night around 6-ish. That's brought to you by myperfectfranchise.net. If you're looking to diversify, if you're looking to leave the corporate rat race to gain control of your income and schedule, myperfectfranchise.net offers the ability to create income and wealth. Let Andy Ledecky guide you through a comprehensive franchise evaluation. There's tons of franchise and business ownership experience to lean on. If you hate your job, you hate your boss, you hate your pay, you feel stuck, Andy can help. It's Andy at myperfectfranchise.net.
Podcast is brought to you by Johnston Hill Creamery, johnstonhillcreamery.com. Go to their Instagram page and see their tailgate packages. You still have time to order But you better hurry for this weekend. If you want to get out in the Grove, they feed 10, 20, or 40, depending on the package that you choose. Everything from some of the great condiments. They've got pepper jelly, feta dip that's excellent. They do the extra large specialty trays, the artisanal. It's the cheese they make in-house every single day. The grazing, the charcuterie, sandwich trays, crudité. They do the fruit tray with the cheesecake dip, which is a favorite, and cookies and brownies. Plenty of desserts options as well. So that's 662-419-9201 or cheese at johnstonhillcreamery.com. So,
by the way, I've had some people ask, where's G-Pits? Jay might still be in the stream. We moved it to a Wednesday. We're going to tape on Wednesdays now just because our Mondays. Auburn moved its media day from Tuesday to Monday, and with their media day and Ole Miss's media day and stuff, it was too hard. So we're moving it to Wednesday. It'll be easy. So there you go.
So, and I guess I'll clarify. We'll go here next. I don't mean nothing as in it was not relevant or whatever. Lane's comments regarding Oxford, regarding his personal changes, those type of things yesterday. Because, we always talk about Lane comes in with something he kind of wanted to say, and that was one yesterday because the question allowed for it, but it didn't necessarily – they didn't say, hey, Lane, how you liking Oxford? Like, that was not necessarily –
Oh, yeah.
He had to get there because that had at least crossed his mind or he was remembering his own contemplations at that point.
Yeah, could be.
It wasn't, hey, how's town treating you? So,
been any cool places lately? Yeah, wasn't that?
Yeah, I
don't even remember the question.
It was at least on his mind a little bit.
Sure.
Well, it was more like, hey, are you comfortable in your third year? Blah 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 blah. Something kind of along those lines. And his full quote. Sometimes you reflect on things. Going to your third year and the first year being strange for everybody with COVID. We couldn't really recruit. The town was kind of shut down. Won the Outback Bowl, then last year to win all the home games and have success. Go to the Sugar Bowl was really cool. Now it's a new year. As I thought about that, I kind of thought maybe if you look at my background where I've been, this statement may surprise you. Probably would have surprised me if I'd have said it a long time ago. I look at it as you go around town, there's so much excitement around the program, season ticket sales and everything, but I feel like I needed Oxford and Ole Miss a lot more than it needed me. I enjoy it here. It's been awesome. It's been really cool. Now we've got to take off from last year and rebuild like we have and go perform on game days and keep our home winning streak alive. I don't know the stats, but it's got to be one of the longer one around. Neal asked a follow-up for elaboration on that, and he said, I just think maybe that statement might not surprise people, but just when I thought of it the other day, I don't know. I would have said in the beginning, just living in the different cities I've lived in, as you guys know, here with Landry moving here and Juice and everything, just how people are here. It's been really awesome for me. It's been part of a lot of changes that have taken place personally. It just didn't happen in these 2 years by chance. I think a lot of it had to do with coming here. Again, he told the truth.
Yeah.
He elaborated, and I guess that was my point at the very beginning of the podcast. We do not get that answer last year from Lane Kiffin in a local press gathering.
God, no.
He never contemplates going into that level of detail about his personal life in last year's press conferences. There is an ease that has come across Lane Kiffin.
Last year, if I had said, could you elaborate on that, he would have looked at me and shot darts right through my chest.
So no, it's been a cool thing. It's been a really, really neat thing, and I understand what he's saying. I mean, it's a guy who
actually, I think I'm one of the ones that he looks to when he tries a joke to see if it worked or not.
See if it lands, if you're laughing or not.
I think I'm one of the test monkeys.
He's been in Boca, in L.A., he was in Tuscaloosa for a little while. He came here in 2019, and frankly, COVID happened very quickly. I mean, he didn't know the town. I mean, everything was just sort of whatever. I mean, some of it is even just a normalcy coming.
And I don't think he was in a good space.
No. He wasn't. He's lost all the weight. We talked about that. We talked with, people about that, all those different things.
He stopped drinking. He's admitted it. I mean, he stopped drinking. I'm not saying he had a drinking problem, but he stopped drinking.
Sure. Daughter's moved here. Senior at Oxford.
Yeah.
Got a dog, apparently.
Is that right?
Yeah, apparently, yes.
What kind?
British Lab, English Lab. Okay. Hell, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, we didn't get that Lane Kiffin. He started down that road a couple weeks ago and stopped and went, hell, what am I doing?
Yeah. You do wonder if Lane's like, so I get a dog, and these people, like, you wonder, when he got the dog, did he think the dog was going to end up being the celebrity that the dog is? By the way, Jay, thanks for the super chat on Juice related. You do have to wonder what he thinks. People are turning the dog into the official school mascot. I wonder if he thinks, well, what if I leave? Like, if I get offered the Cowboys job and I
can't leave the dog,
take it, does Juice come with me, or how does this work?
So I'm not being very articulate here. I guess my point is, no, all those things are true. He likes Oxford more than he expected to like Oxford. He likes Oxford more than he did a year ago. There's no doubt about that. He's gotten into a better place personally. I think some of the things that are charming about the community have resonated with him, things that, frankly, we weren't sure would be a positive or a negative for Lane when he came in. You know, he's a huge introvert. At times, the town can feel very small where you're getting kind of looked at. You can't disappear. And I don't know I don't know to what level that bothered him or was a nothing or whatever earlier in his tenure, but I do believe he has found a lot of positive spin and things along those lines on what the town is like. And I guess my point is, look, that's a great thing. Could that keep him here longer if you're an Ole Miss fan? Sure. There's no doubt about that. He also, though, for some of the people trying to make too much of it, wasn't going, I'm going to be here forever because I really like Oxford. That was also not what he was saying yesterday.
Yeah.
It does not mean that if a great job comes, that like if the Vikings call, he's going to Minnesota and he'll deal with the snow. Like, I guess my point was, let's keep it between the tracks on what it meant. It is a good thing potentially for his tenure. It does potentially. There are jobs now that he would not take that he would have taken a year ago because of how the community has turned for him. There's no doubt about that.
Sure.
The list of schools or jobs or coaching positions that he now takes is smaller than it was 12 months ago for that reason, frankly, because he's in a better place personally and is pretty happy, it seems.
Yeah.
And then, two, he's making more money.
Yeah.
So all those things combined, that Venn diagram we always talk about of jobs Lane wants, jobs that want Lane, and then in the middle, which ones actually all coexist together, it's a smaller circle than it was last year at this point.
There's
no doubt about that.
For sure. And I think he's had a chance to see the landscape a little bit, and even some of the, quote, great jobs, some of the jobs that are better than the Ole Miss job, at least, you know, by most metrics. A lot of those places are having the same NIL issues that Ole Miss was having. Frankly, Ole Miss is ahead of a lot of those schools in NIL. And Lane's smart enough to know this. He's actually really smart. I don't think intelligence has ever been his downfall. I think he knows the NIL thing is going to autocorrect to a degree. And everybody might be advised, if you're staying in the college game, to be a little patient with it. Now, there's a list of coaches that 2 years ago had no interest in going to the NFL who are now applying to 32 franchises.
Sure.
I mean, that's a real thing. But I don't know. I thought it was an interesting comment. More than he would have said a year ago. I don't think a year ago he would have been like, yeah, this place has been great for me. I think he was like, whatever. It was fine. And now I think it's changed. Some of that is his daughter moving here and making friends and going to the high school. And suddenly, I mean, it's one of the, look, if you ask people who live here, what are the things you love about Oxford? Well, those of us who have kids, one of the first things we say is the schools are great. Not perfect, but great.
Sure.
And so he's experienced that. His daughter came here for her senior year in high school and has been embraced.
That's a tough transition for a kid.
You know, I mean, so she's made a bunch of friends and she's hanging out, and those friends come over to the house because high school girls hang out in packs. And those friends come over to the house, and he sees them and he's met them. And so I'm sure he's met some parents and things of that nature. And yeah, there's more comfort.
It's allowed him to slow down.
Sure.
Just concentrate on some stuff.
Yeah. And he's lost a ton of weight. I'm sure he just feels better.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot there. And the place has embraced him. I mean, I don't know that a place could embrace a person more than Oxford and Ole Miss have embraced Lane Kiffin. I don't know that it's possible. I'm sure that you could equal it someplace. I'm sure Tuscaloosa has embraced Nick Saban quite a bit. But, I don't know that you can embrace him anymore. I mean, they're about to make his dog the mascot, for God's sake. I mean, they've embraced him.
The thing is, you're not being that hyperbolic.
I know. I'm totally serious. He's leading the team on the walk through the Grove. I mean, there's a betting line on whether he'll stop and urinate on something. I mean, what's going to happen? I mean, it's silly on one hand, and on the other hand, it's kind of absolutely on brand.
It's odd as hell, but sure.
But I mean, if someone were to say to you, hey, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, you know what? Ole Miss is going to walk a dog down
the Walk of Champions.
The Walk of Champions. What dog do you think it would be? I would have gone, oh, probably a yellow lab. That's what I would have said immediately. I would have said, oh, a lab.
Yeah, sure. Something fun.
Yeah. Just a happy party dog.
Lab, golden retriever.
Yeah. And so here we are. None of this is all that surprising.
Now, in saying that, the day before we all knew about the Luke stuff and all that stuff went down, they said, hey, in 4 years, or not even 4 years, Lane Kiffin's the coach. They're going to go to a Sugar Bowl, and his dog is going to lead the team down the Walk of Champions. You went, hold on a minute. How many mushrooms have you had, and where do we get them?
Well, I would have thought, hey, so you've been reading my column because I've written this twice.
And look,
don't forget, I'm the idiot that the day that they promoted Matt Luke wrote, you should hire Lane Kiffin.
I'm aware, yeah.
Ask me how that
make it wrong.
Ask me how that went over.
Doesn't make it wrong.
No, I wrote it.
Use that sunglasses photo.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I questioned my sanity somewhat after that, but yeah. So here we are.
Well, that's a good point. I don't know who's actually going to walk the dog down the Walk of Champions.
I would guess it's not Lane holding the leash.
The Wild Rose guy?
That would be. And if that's not who it is, they should reconsider it. Because that dude speaks dog.
He does. He's a whisperer.
Like he speaks Labradorian. I mean that as a compliment.
No. You see him around Juice, and
Juice is like running around crazy. He sees that guy. He's like, "Whoa, hold up, yes, sir. Thank you, sir."
Yeah, it's very much drill sergeant.
Yes. Oh.